everybody, and welcome back to another fantastic edition of DialogBOX. I am your host, Laughingboy LP. In case you are brand new to the show, that's okay. It's only been 15 episodes, so am I. Here tonight, I have two very lovely guests. Over on twitch.tv, you can find him streaming things and clearing games and finding bugs. We got Proton in the house. Hello.
Hello, it's ProtonJon. How you doing?
And doing a lot of that, but not with the bugs. We got JoshJepson.
Hi, it's me, JoshJepson. What's up, guys?
I wasn't sure where you're going at first till you said the game clearing and bugs. I'm like, all right.
It's like, he does streams. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Which one is that? The white one. The white guy in the room.
Ah, yes, that narrows it down, too.
With hair. Laughs a lot. No?
All right, I lost there. There we go.
Yeah.
I laughed too much.
We laugh a lot here in my house. It's a good time. 2020.
God, don't remind me.
Yes. It is a number, and that's all it is.
Yep. Some would say that it's the best number if you like having good eyes. Some would say it's the worst number if you want to talk about history. But it happened. We thought they were going to stop. I made this joke before, like, video games were over. But they were not. And even then,
they fought back.
They fought back. 2 games, and they're running. They we play a lot of games. So we've done this, so we've got a lot of episodes already about this. 3 is a big number. I'm literally improvising. I didn't know if you could tell.
No,
I don't have
this
a single script. Thank you. I do a lot of hard work.
The fact that you paused saying that, really, I can't even believe I'm saying this either.
Hard work. What's that?
What's a podcast? So, video games. I'm not starting over. I'm just going back to.
This is paragraph 2 of my linear notes.
My talk is just video games. I mean, isn't that what most podcasts at this point are? Just say the word. Video games.
Say the line, Bart. Say the line.
That's what everyone says to you. Did I? No, this is a completely different conversation. I need to focus.
If you want to talk about that, we can, but just keep going.
I made a very good video, and I don't know if you saw it. It's the Animaniacs meme.
Oh, God.
And it's somewhere down here.
I have
seen
it.
Which one? I was sent a lot when that dropped. I remember you sending one. I think I retweeted it. But I can't remember if you sent me the Pokey one or if you sent something else.
Pokey one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I thought...
Then I hated it.
Oh, well, that's fine. I just needed you to be honest with me. I actually had to do a lot of editing on that. So...
No, that's fair. That's actually a little complex, yeah.
It's apparently it's not. It's just a checkbox now.
Oh,
Premiere fixed it.
Oh, Premiere. Oh, right. You're using Premiere.
Yeah. So like you can speed it up.
That's the one thing I miss about Premiere is speed up footage because it's not the same in Vegas.
Yeah.
And Vegas has an upper limit, which sucks because I want to just speed that thing up to like 30 times. I want VCR effect.
VCR effect. My favorite.
The only way that I used to make it work like 7 years ago was using like what they call the paintbrush effect. And I was like, how is paintbrush supposed to? And then I tried and I was like, oh shit, it's actually pretty good. It does that speed up go kind of effect. Video games.
Paragraph 3.
I wrote the script for Josh and John at the same time. What was it? Like 465% increase in spending on the genre, on the medium. Like as soon as we all got bored from Tiger King, we were just like, all right, what else do we have? Oh,
when is the Tiger King video game? That's the real question.
You joke. That'll probably happen.
I know.
It's going to be on mobile.
Yeah.
It'll be a Tiger management game.
Tiger management. Something like that.
As soon as some company can get the rights, it's done. They got the whole game done. They're just waiting to get the rights.
Yeah, done and dusted. Yeah, we made the game already. We've just been sitting in legal hell for like 7 months. We just painted over another one. Zoo management games. It works. A lot of games came out in 2020, but ultimately, like, what I like to do at the end of every year is kind of do a roundup of all the games that we've played in 2020, and that doesn't necessarily mean like games that came out this year, although I'm actually kind of like, patting myself on the back. I actually beat a lot of games that came out this year. I'm pretty bad at that. Although I guess it doesn't count if half these are remake. Yeah. In fact, I'll kind of go over this like towards the end because there's still. I'm not even going to look at my PS1 collection. I mean, I do, but it's mostly to admire it. I mean, I got Rising Zan sealed.
Ooh.
I don't even know what that is.
It's only $50.
Samurai Gunman.
It's the sexiest game on PlayStation, according to the box.
It's got like an anime intro and everything. It's really weird.
It's really.
I thought Gex was the sexiest game on PlayStation.
No, it's the
Gex
Gexiest
thinks
game.
He's the sexiest game on PlayStation. Gex literally has sex with a porn star.
Yes, nobody talks this.
It's fucking weird.
Oh my god!
At the end of the third game, he clearly doinks that lady.
But
with his
but he's a
gayness.
gecko. But
yeah, exactly. He's a CG gecko, and she's an FMV woman. But
Yeah.
they find a way.
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
Never.
I'm sure they've had horrible, horrible children since then.
Oh god.
That's what Gex 4 is about. Killing them.
Oh god.
Gotta put them out of their
Like
misery.
there's a comedian I watch on Twitter, and he's obsessed with making a third Gremlins movie. So he's made up this fake story about how Desmond is the character he plays, and he's a human gremlin hybrid that was the love child of Gizmo and Jennifer Aniston.
Oh my god.
And
Do you think that when she did that,
I can
that
imagine it.
she knew she would be on Friends later?
Oh.
Probably not.
She's too good for this now.
Can't do Gremlins anymore.
I still think it's my favorite thing about Gremlins is the whole like videotape, the CNN like videotape thing joke that they did about how like Ted Turner has a doomsday tape.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember that. That was from Gremlins? I didn't realize that was from Gremlins.
So apparently like it was an entire inside joke. Like one of the writers had apparently heard about it from somebody that worked there at CNN or like at Turner. And the tape was real. Like they actually made the tape, but it was like a rumor. And I guess the writer just made a joke about it in Gremlins 2. It's like I feel like that my favorite jokes are the ones that the writers write for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know. My favorite bit from Gremlins 2 is definitely the part where the movie stops halfway through because the Gremlins ripped up the reel.
That's right.
So it cuts to an actual movie theater that is watching Gremlins 2, and the usher looks for someone to help get stop the Gremlins, and he goes into the audience and finds Hulk Hogan,
Oh my god.
who stands up in the movie theater, gives a speech, rips off his shirt because he's Hulk Hogan, and then convinces the Gremlins to put the movie back on, apologizes, sorry folks, here's the rest of the real movie, and then he sits back down and the movie continues. Gremlins 2 was way ahead of its time. I really wish they actually had made a proper Gremlins 3.
It's surprisingly like uber meta for a movie that came out late 80s.
I think it actually was 90.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
It actually might be 90.
It had an NES game.
Speaking of NES games.
90, dead on.
Speaking of video games.
So when's the Gremlins video game? No, I'm just kidding.
There was a Gremlins video. Yeah.
Oh my god, there are.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Is this going to be our Gremlins podcast?
I'm not
now?
surprised, but
Do you think if we do a Gremlins podcast, then we'll suddenly have we'll have Gremlin celebrity guests like Jennifer Aniston?
Well, we can only hope. We can only hope. Actually, I haven't watched Gremlins 1, so I've only seen the second one.
I've only seen the first one, and it was a very long time ago, and I don't remember it at all. But that's not helpful
who needs
here,
context? Just watch 2. It has a Looney Tunes opening.
Yeah, okay. I'll just watch 2.
Yeah, the first one's actually kind of trying to be like a bit serious of a horror movie, and the second one's pretty much just a horror comedy.
Yeah. And then 2 is just like, nah, fuck it. It's for the kids.
Hell yeah.
Video games.
Video games.
Uh,
Tell me about video games.
so remember how I said this part was going to take 20 minutes, and I think it's already been 20 minutes? It's been 14 minutes. I told you.
It's because we brought up Gremlins. That's why.
Yeah, as soon as I bring up any little bit of meaning. Well, I mean, we can't get away from this podcast without talking about Snow Buddies.
Oh God, no! Don't bring back the fucking Air Bud expanded universe.
We never finished that conversation. You had to leave. So if you watch all of our podcasts, like every couple of podcasts, you'll have the full conversation of the air. Be like that whole Simpsons thing with the Arnold Schwarzenegger character that I
the
sent.
McMahon movie.
Yeah. We'll throw bits and pieces everywhere, so you have to watch every single episode. People have already ducked out by now.
That's how you get the big bucks.
I'm very smart. Fucking video games. So yeah,
Paragraph 4.
I'm finally gonna just fucking talk about video games for once. Like I never talk about video games. Look at me.
Never.
I've played a lot. I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 on the dot.
Ooh, wow.
Video games that I played.
That is way more than I played. Holy
Is that
shit.
just from this year that came out this year, or that in general?
Oh God, if it was just from this year, could you imagine? No, it's just in general.
Okay. Hang on.
And it's not counting like Fall Guys and Among Us.
How many did I play that came out this year?
You may have to use both fingers. Wait,
I
both
only
hands.
played like 3 or 4 games that came out this year.
Well, your top 3 will be very easy.
I got
Yes.
36 apparently I played this year.
Look
That
at
came out
you.
this year.
Oh, that came out this year?
Yeah, that came out this year. Yeah, it's weird. Like normally I don't get to play much that came out the actual year. But the odd thing is, so I think I actually played less games that came out this year compared to last year. I'm just trying to get an actual comparison here because I have everything in notepads. Because I always have to do this for my actual podcast too.
So what I've been doing pretty much the last 3 years when I started this idea was I was going to I just have a note on my Mac. Like I just kind of write it down on my phone, and you can make like a little table. So I just have like the name of the game and what system it came out on.
Yeah.
And then I'll reorder the table based off of whether or not I think I liked one game better than another.
So you're
Apparently-
like ranking them
And then
throughout the
eventually I
year.
get my top 3.
Apparently I played
Yeah.
3 less games that came out this year than last year. Last year I played 3 more games that had been released in 2019.
You hate to see it.
But my pile of shame is like half, if not a third of the size of last year. So that's a good sign. That
Well,
either
that's
means
right.
that I played everything I wanted this year, or not much came out this year, which I think the answer is a little both.
Well, I guess your top-down podcast, do they do like the bad games you played as well?
Yeah, we do. Oh, what are our categories? Our categories are 2019's, 2020's 20XX Game of the Year. So that's our favorite games that we played this year that came out in previous years. That isn't last year, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's like, yeah. But I didn't actually fill in all that yet. I didn't think I was going to need it for here.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, we've got 2020's 20XX Game of the Year, 2020's 2019 Game of the Year, so a game that came out last year that we played this year that we liked. Most disappointing news or games of the year, surprise of the year, best audio, Patreon Game of the Year, top 10, pile of shame, and bets for next year.
So it's like a nice superlative list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Potent Potables is a good category. I like that one.
I'll take anal bomb cover for 500, Alex. That's an album cover.
Name this continent. Asia.
They just do that.
Oh God, that's. Oh, did I tell you that I have a high school shirt and they, like when we were graduating, they let us put whatever we wanted, like on the back of the shirt as your
no.
name. So I wrote Turd Ferguson,
Nice.
Oh my
and they
God.
let me do it.
Nice.
Yeah, and they let me wear it in the school. Video games.
Paragraph 5.
Here we go. Actually, I have a pretty good list of like games that came out in 2020. I have some games that have been out for quite some time, and a lot of them are just kind of on my list for different reasons. So, Elephant in the Room. This past year was not great.
Nope.
We stayed indoors a lot. I think I crawled out for coffee. That's it. And groceries. I think I can survive mostly on coffee. But I was still able to kind of beat a really good amount of games for 2020. Like, I got my PS5, so Miles Morales, Ghost of Tsushima, the Xenoblade Chronicles like remake, which is like the first time I've actually beaten that game. So I have like save files on the Wii and so I finally like sat down and played the entire Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch. Finally beat it. What else? I think Trials of Mana came out earlier this year, and that was kind of like, that's a game that kind of fell under the radar, I would say, but it's pretty good for a remake. A lot of people notice like this juxtaposition between Square Enix games, where Trials of Mana and Final Fantasy VII Remake, like both are remakes of an earlier game, but Trials of Mana is more like what would happen if you were very, very true to the original. Like the dialogue and the translations are the exact same in most places. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake being what if we
wrote a fanfic?
added some fun extra. Yeah. Which one's Tetsuya Nomura? Can you find out?
God.
It's all of them. But I also finished a lot of games that I had last year. I kind of set the goal for myself to finally beat games that I've had like a save file in it, where the last time I accessed it was 4 years ago. So World of Final Fantasy and Watch Dogs 2 are now finally done on my to-do list. I'd always looked at Croc, and I always started Croc, but when I started trying to stream a little bit more, I decided to go through it. Not as fun as I thought it'd be.
That's a bummer.
My 6-year-old. Well, I mean, like, it's fine, but I think a lot of the levels towards the end get really tedious, and a lot of the places kind of look the same. It's a game made of bottomless pits. Like 80% of the game is bottomless pits.
Ugh.
And then Shenmue finally beat for the first time on PS4.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to kind of go through 2 and 3. I do have 2 and 3, and I know some people are either like, if you're a big Shenmue fan, then it's like, you're going to love it, just more Shenmue. And then people who kind of moved on from Shenmue played 3 and were like, wow, it sure is more Shenmue.
Well, here's the thing, like Yakuza showed up in between Shenmue 2 and 3 and was like, hey,
So
we're just
good.
better Shenmue.
God. Yeah. Yakuza Kiwami was a game that I beat late last year. And that probably could have been in my top 5, but I still need to go through. I have all of them on PS4. I just need to go through them. That's mostly it. Like I've played a bunch of PS1 games that I had always wanted to play as a kid and never got a chance to. I'm trying to start playing a lot of older RPGs like Dragon Quest 2 because I never played them before. I'm hoping to kind of make some videos about those next year. But I wanted to start playing them this year to kind of get my ideas down. Finally beat Pokemon Ultra. It took me like 4 years. So, and Gravity Rush. Ooh, Gravity Rush. That's a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually platinumed it on PS Vita, but I decided to replay it on the PS4. Got the platinum on that as well. So,
Nice.
I'm a happy camper. I think that I have 2 games where I have 2 for each version of it. It's Gravity Rush and Spider-Man. Did you know that if you have all the trophies in Spider-Man, you can just port your save to the PS5 remake and it instantly gives you them all?
I didn't know that.
Because I bought it after I bought Miles. I didn't buy the Ultimate Edition, and the PS5 version didn't have the save transfer feature until like a week later. And so I just kind of sat on it because I was like, maybe I'll just play New Game Plus, or I'll play Ultimate mode, right? Or do both. Once I transferred over the save file, it gives you every single trophy, but it has to give you an alert for every single trophy you get. And so it just goes for like 5 minutes, just hitting every single ding. And so if you look back at like the screen cap of every trophy that was earned, it's all on the title screen. So, I did a lot.
You get a trophy, and you get a trophy, and you get a trophy, and you get it, and it just keeps going.
I wish I could
There's
transfer
only
mine backwards to get all those trophies.
I wish too. I guess if you wanted to play it smart, you would just buy the PS4 versions, get the PS5 versions of both games for free, and then you could play the PS4 versions of each and then transfer them up. Instant platinums.
Hilarious.
Video games. That's the end of that paragraph, not the start of a new one. John, what about you? How was your week, your year?
My week was great.
Wow.
My year was good. Like I said, I was like 34 games that actually came out this year. And then this year in game clearing, we had the plan for this year was that I let subs actually pick what game I played each month. So I gave them a list of about 10 to 12 games. They were each from a different system. And I let them just vote on a poll to see what would happen. And that was an interesting experiment because it started first with I let games that got second and third place carry over, which might have been a mistake because that led to for 4 months in a row BioShock Infinite getting second place. So BioShock Infinite was added to the January poll and it got played in May because apparently finally they decided to let it win. But I played Mega Man The Wily Wars on Genesis, Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance on the Xbox 360, Dust and Elysian Tale on the Switch, BioShock Infinite on the PS4 in May, What the Golf on the Epic Games Store in June. July, I actually didn't do a poll because I took most of that month off because Reese went to the hospital. So instead, June had 2 extra games. We played Metroid Other M and Star Fox Zero. And then July, I just happened to beat Battletoads for the NES on stream, so I counted it. August was Golf Story on Switch. September was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Switch. October was Alice Manus Returns for the Xbox 360. November was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night on Steam, but I have it on a lot of things. And December was Aliens Infestation for DS. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, the game for the Game Gear. Crackdown 3 for the Xbox One, and Oda Medius Excellent for the Xbox 360. So it was that was all the stuff.
Yeah, those were the last 2.
Yeah, those are the last 2 games I streamed.
Nice.
For game clearing. So yeah, that was all the stuff that people voted on. And then there's a bunch of stuff that happened during streams too. In total, on stream, I beat 52 games this year.
Oh, that's right. One for each week.
Yeah, well, that's how it worked out. It wasn't the intention, but that's how it worked out. The intention was 12 games, 1 per month, and then we worked out the 1 per week, which was great.
Josh, how was your year?
Honestly, I don't play as many video games as I used to. And I think I said the same thing last year, and it's gotten even worse this year. So, I mean, I played and beaten just maybe 1 game.
Ooh.
As far as I can remember. So I've been playing Hades a little bit, which is good. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Mario All-Stars, and Animal Crossing. And that's pretty much all I've played this year. Is those 4 games.
And those are some beefy games, so.
They are, yeah. And of those games that I've actually completed, obviously Animal Crossing you kind of can, but you know what I mean. Mario All-Stars, I've only beaten Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to mention all the games I played that I hadn't beaten, but I feel like I'll talk about them eventually.
See, most of the games that I play, and the thing is too, is I jump around to games my ADD is all over the place, so I'm just like I'm jumping from game to game throughout the day, and I'm like trying to figure out what I'm gonna play, and so like that's pretty much how I play my games all the time. Is the unfortunate thing. So it's hard to list off all of them, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's been an okay year for games though. It hasn't been like super crazy. So, it's been easy to just pick up older games. So I've been trying to do like I did a Banjo-Kazooie. I played Banjo-Kazooie again, as I do several times a year. But this time I played it with crowd control, so that was fun.
Oh god.
Yeah, that was a good time. It was bad.
Was it
actually.
fun
It was
or
really
was it
terrible?
fun?
But in a good way.
It was fun.
It was
a good time.
fun.
It was a good time.
It was fun.
Galaxy became my new favorite Mario game this year
Hey.
because you can press Y to spin now instead of
Yeah.
waggle.
There
So
you
that's
go.
cool.
Oh, that's right.
Finally fixed the main issue with that game.
And the pointing at the screen, which is annoying. I find that the gyro control for pointing at the screen doesn't work as well as pointing at the screen, but it's more convenient. So I appreciate that. And that's it. That's all I've played this year that I can remember.
Mario 3D All-Stars is pretty beefy. All I really did on that game was I used that as my opportunity or an excuse to play Mario 64 again.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say out of all the ways to play Mario 64, it's probably the best if you don't have an N64.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, because then you're because you didn't have an N64, right? So you're experiencing it.
No, I had one.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I had an N64 pretty late though. So I had it
Oh.
when Smash Brothers came out. That was my first game with it. So I played Mario 64 until like years and years after it came out. Although I like friends' houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've replayed it on almost everything but the DS. And I tried on the DS and I can't.
Oh, it's hard. The camera controls
Yeah.
on the DS version are just so wacky.
Bad. Yeah.
I think
But it's a good game besides that because they add a lot of stuff to that game.
They do, and I feel like it's made specifically if you have that thumb adapter for the original DS. Because I remember that was the only time it didn't hurt.
The little strap.
Mhm.
Yeah. But like trying to use either your thumb with friction or trying to use the stylus, it doesn't work.
Nope. It's the same experience pretty much on the 3DS. But that is the better way to play it, I feel. Even though you're locked to the 8 directions of the D-pad, it feels better to play it with the circle pad still, in my opinion.
And yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I really, really tried to beat Mario Sunshine. I tried so hard. I got yelled at on Twitter.
Mario
because
Sunshine
I said
is
that Mario Sunshine's a bad game.
Mario
That's 'cause
Sunshine's
it is
a special
bad
boy.
game.
It kind of is.
I've never seen the wrath of people who were just like so defending a game where it's like, no, the game's not bad, you're bad.
Well, you clearly have not messed with any Sonic fans, so if you ever want to feel that experience to the 10th degree, like, go insult the Sonic game.
I heckle Sonic all the time on my
Sunshine's
stream.
got its defenders. I honestly thought Josh was going to be defending it a little bit more than he did.
Listen. I defended Sunshine for years, and I'm over it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the two responses I get from people who love Sunshine are, no, you're just very bad at it, or, oh.
I think I've come to the acceptance part of Sunshine. I went through oh, this is fun, to the I hate this, to like, okay, I like this part about it, but God, do I hate the blue coins.
Yeah,
if
you play the game and you just do the normal stars to beat the game and beat Bowser and don't get any blue coins, like you can beat the game without getting any blue coins at all. You can get 0 blue coins and beat the game.
Yeah.
So like, there's not really any point to doing
And
it. Like if you don't feel
experience is fine.
satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that experience is fine. But then when you go to 100%, you don't want to go to 100%.
100%.
It's like 70%.
Even for certain shines, like, I know quite a few of them are required, except for like some of the bonus ones. But
isn't it something like you need like the first?
You need 7th.
6? Yeah,
first
the
7,
The
yeah.
7th one is the one you need every time.
You need to get you need specifically, actually, you just need the 7th one. You don't even need the other ones, technically. Because you can skip a lot of them, some of them. So all you need to do is beat Shadow Mario in every level basically, and then you win. You win the whole game.
And then you win.
That's it.
Yeah.
Game ends right there.
Game ends
But
right
there
there.
are just
Well,
so
kinda.
many tedious things that you have to do in a lot of them. And I
Mhm.
feel like, especially like the hotel level is not
Yeah.
fun and buggy.
I go back
Yeah,
and
very
forth on the
buggy.
hotel because I like the fact that it's so different,
Yeah.
but it also has some of the events that most people associate with being awful in the game, like
Yeah.
the manta ray fight,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously jumping around in the vents and getting stuck indoors and stuff like that. It's yeah. It's also got the casino.
And that one bothered me a lot. That
Yeah.
pretty much all of that bothered me. It's actually the least offensive part, in my opinion. So my experience with Sunshine is that a little bit of it when it first came out, and then I just never it was just something to get back to eventually, and then I just didn't. So when the 3D All Stars came out, I was really looking forward to playing it. And then those dreams were dashed by bugs.
Yeah. I've still only completed it just like casually on the Switch version because I'm dreading going through and doing 100%. So I'm probably not gonna anytime soon. At some point I will. That's the thing is like I just find myself replaying basically all my childhood games over and over again every year, and it's gotten worse this year, especially with quarantine and everything, and being 2020 being 2020. It's good to have those comfort food games.
Yeah.
And Mario is always a comfort food game. So
I still need to finish Banjo-Kazooie.
Especially Sunshine.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is another comfort food game of mine. I love it.
Oh.
You guys know. Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
I can't stop talking about Banjo.
So now we are going to we all have our little list ready. We have our top 3 games. We're going to go from 3 down to 1. We'll start with number 3. We'll talk about what we liked about the games, why we think that particular game was in our top 3. And of course, these games don't have to have been made in 2020. So they can just be any game that you've played. But any games that you've recently played this year and beat this year, or played enough of to kind of have a feel for it, we'll talk about our top 3s in there.
Okay.
So for my number 3, I put down Ghost of Tsushima.
Ah, okay.
Ooh.
And one of the things that I talk about a lot in terms of whether or not I like a game is I know that if I've played enough of it to have platinumed it or to want to platinum it, then I don't really like doing that. I usually I do the bare minimum and I move on. I just have so much. I have too much. But if I like a game enough, I will try to go. And the platinum's easy enough, I will try to go for it. Ghost has a pretty good platinum list. You can get everything in one playthrough. The only trouble that I had with the game sometimes is that there's a lot of riding around in big empty spaces. And I think at the start, for me, those random encounters, you have to learn how to use the fighting system. And one thing that kind of bothers me with certain games is that most of the idea of a video game is that you're going to play terribly the first time you play it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. In most cases. You're trying to get used to a new battle system. You're trying to get used to a new mechanic. And I don't think Ghost of Tsushima does a good enough job of letting you practice it enough. So if I go into a fight and I get beaten down, then I can't redo that fight to practice it. I have to go and find maybe another fight somewhere else. Basically, when you reload, that random encounter disappears. There are other games that do that. I can't think of them off the top. I think Spider-Man does that. There are points about that where I think it's the only reason why it's not like my favorite game. But ultimately, it's one of the most gorgeous looking games. I think it's like the perfect send-off for the PS4. And then their use of color is just really amazing. So, at certain points, you're going to see very kind of like the same colors. It's either like all gray or all yellow. And then they'll just kind of put something that contrasts between it. And so it just makes it more noticeable, beautiful. Mm-hmm. So overall, it's a really good experience. I think if you have a PS5 and you haven't played it yet, I would probably play it on that instead for betterments. But ultimately, it was a great game. It's one of my favorites this year. ProtonJon, what is your number 3?
My number 3 for the year is Spider-Man Remastered.
Ooh.
So I really liked, I think it was a 2018 release of Spider-Man on PS4, but I never actually got around to finishing it. I only got maybe a tenth of the way in, maybe, because it's a chunky game.
Yeah.
So when I got the PS5, I picked up the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, which came with the remastered for free. And instead of playing Miles Morales, I just sat down and played all of Spider-Man, including all the DLC. I was super engrossed in it. I loved it. That game is excellent. And since it was the remastered on PS5, like no loading times, which is fucking crazy. Like it was nice being able to just click fast travel and instantly be there.
Yes.
It was nice just being like no cutscene loading issues really. It was very buggy. I had a lot of glitches that I documented on Twitter.
I made a lot of videos.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, other than that, like it was really good. I put it above Miles while Miles is great in that. I think because I had played all of Spider-Man before I went to Miles Morales, I was a bit more fatigued on it. And I think the story is a bit more grandiose in Spider-Man than it is in Miles. But yeah, no, that's my number 3.
Josh, how about you?
Yeah, so my number 3 is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Nice.
I really it's very spammy, and it does have like frame rate issues on the Switch, but it's, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I actually haven't finished it yet, so I can't like speak to the whole thing, but it's the story that everybody wanted from Breath of the Wild. It just makes it so much more impactful. Makes the story of Breath of the Wild so much more impactful because you have all this backstory now, which some people say it's a little fan fictiony, but like I said, I haven't finished it yet, so I couldn't speak to it, but yeah. It was good. It's good. I actually don't have anything else to say about it, to be honest.
Yeah, no worries. I do actually really. That's another game that I probably could put on this list if I had actually beaten it. But it's another beefy game. So
yeah, there's a lot to it. But that's why I like it, because it's just like it's one of those things you can pick up and just play for a few minutes and have a satisfying experience and then put it down. And that's what I need. Yeah. I need games that I can pick up and just put down and pick up and put down until I finish it. Eventually, one day.
Yeah. I did like how they put like the adventure mode map into the actual game.
Yeah.
So it's not like a separate mode, which can be kind of crushing.
It was very overwhelming because I played the Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition as well this year, and I didn't get very far in it, but that was the one thing that was so daunting about it, was how much other shit there was in all these other modes.
Yeah.
And the fact that Age of Calamity just puts it all on one map just kind of makes it. It's still overwhelming, but
but it's more condensed than it is of like, all right, you want to do adventure mode, you want to do story mode,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to do Ganon smash things mode, you want to do my fairy mode, like
Definitive Edition mode. I was already burnt out before Definitive Edition came out because like I bought the Wii U version, I bought the 3DS version, and then I didn't even buy the Switch version until like several months later. I think like a year later.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a very big fan of Musou's, so like it's a clear winner for me. Yeah, I can't. I'm too scared to look at Definitive Edition, but Age of Calamity has been great. This is a good number 3. So moving on to my number 2, I kind of talked about this earlier, but I'm going to put Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition as my number 2.
Okay.
JRPGs are a pretty big like no-brainer for me. Like there will probably, if there's a good JRPG coming out that year, it'll probably be my number 1 or 2. And I did play quite a few JRPGs this year, but one of the ones that had kind of eluded me for 10 years has been Xenoblade. That was a game like I played it on the Wii. I knew it was a big game and just kind of like balked at like whether or not I was like emotionally ready to like start it at that point. Tried to play the 3DS version, and one of the big complaints I had of the 3DS version was the questing system, and I think, in my personal opinion, Xenoblade Chronicles has like one of the worst side quest systems in any JRPG that I've played. knowing where villagers are, knowing when side quests even appear. If you're trying to do a completion run, I know at some points you can only choose one or another quest. I think the problem for me was like having to go and find things on my own with the 3DS version was really time consuming. And I think I was like over 100 hours in and I wasn't even halfway through the game on my first try. And so I got really frustrated and put it down. But the Switch version basically fixed all of that. So playing Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch allowed me to play handheld and on a big screen TV. And I could kind of enjoy the game at my pace. And like, obviously the story is amazing. I love the music and the voice acting in that game. There are some jokes that I like to make at Ryan's expense, but for the most part, I really like the voice acting. They're very good at making impactful. I had a really good time. I don't really think I took any time off to play anything else when I was just super focused on the Switch version. So out of all the games I played on 2020, I think it was probably one of the best ones I had played. So I put that on number 2. Jonathan?
Nice. That's it. I'm not saying anything. Am I up next?
My number 2 is nice.
No, I said John.
Oh, I didn't hear you on my side.
I think the Discord call is kind of weird, so.
Yeah, my number 2 is not showing up on my screen. There we go. Super Mario Brothers 35.
Ooh, I haven't played that yet.
But I'm too scared to play it.
So my number 1 last year was Tetris 99. So unsurprisingly, getting another game made by that team in that style would rank pretty high for me. And the fact that it was a Battle Royale Mario 1, so 35 players playing against each other Mario 1 was really cool. I really liked the idea. And weirdly enough, it answered a couple of my gripes with the original Mario 35, or with the original Mario 1 rather, because the physics in Mario 1 have not held up the best. They're a little janky to get used to, especially if you've played later Mario games. They actually tweaked the physics in it just enough to feel a little bit more modern. It feels weird if you're used to the original game, and I definitely had a moment where starting to play the game like, this doesn't feel right. And now I prefer it more to the original game.
Do the physics feel more like Mario Maker's changes, or is it different?
It's an in-between point.
Okay.
It feels a little tighter. You can run a little faster. You can react to things a little bit better. But it's still got the slipperiness of Mario 1. Like, I don't know. It's weird to explain. It feels just slightly off, but it's for some reason is a better slightly off.
Okay. Yeah, I did play. I played a lot of Mario 1 this year. And yeah, I think momentum has always been one of my problems about that game.
Yeah. It definitely feels better. And you can also, if you play enough of it, you can just straight up play Mario 1 in it, but like you have to do it one level at a time. You have to like pick your level you want.
That's right.
But the chaos of that game is really fun and addicting, and it's honestly kind of a bummer that it's going to go away at the end of March.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to work
that's
out.
Dumb.
I don't know why Nintendo's doing that, because it's a free game. It's not like they're making any money off of it.
But then again, Tetris 99 was in a similar boat, and then suddenly that became a big hit, and they made a full-fledged game out of that. So
that's true.
So here's hoping with this one. That's my number 2.
Joshua?
So yeah, my number 2 is actually, I mean, we talked about it a lot earlier, so I don't know how much I could talk about it here, but Super Mario Galaxy, which is like, this year Galaxy became my new favorite Mario game, and so I'm very happy about its inclusion. I'm very sad that there's no Galaxy 2 in the Mario All-Stars collection. That makes me sad. Because I kind of think of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 as like one giant game. Just because I can't pick between the two of them. I think they're both fantastic in their own rights. But I actually prefer Galaxy 2 more. So I was hoping that they would do some like DLC or something for Mario All-Stars, which never happened. But like I said, it did become my new favorite Mario game this year, and I played the crap out of it. And yeah, and just all the little improvements, like I said earlier, like the button press to spin and the pointing at the screen, being on the gyro instead of pointing at the screen, it just makes the gameplay so much better. It makes the experience a lot better. So yeah, that's my number 2 and my new favorite.
I'll have to go back to that because I started it with the Pro Controller. Would you recommend the Pro Controller or just the Joy-Cons?
So I played the whole game with, cause my Joy-Cons are super drifty. So I played the whole game with the Pro Controller, and it was weird at first, but I mean, it does feel like the more natural experience to play a Mario game with a proper controller. It does feel a little weird not to have 2 separate controllers though. Still.
Yeah.
It does feel a little weird.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of made it work trying to collect stars using the Pro Controller. So it's not too bad. But yeah, I think I'll have to go back to it and just forget Sunshine ever existed. Tax write-off. So once I figured out how to run a podcast successfully and not diverge into different conversations, this actually turned out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We're already at our number 1s. Look at that.
All right.
I love it.
So I think now is a good time to take a huge break and talk about something completely different. Have you heard about Audible? I wish I had sponsors just to do shit like that. That's the only reason why I want sponsors, is to troll.
And that's why you don't have any. Because you're like, we want to treat a little bit better than that.
What did you say about Pepsi? Final 7 Remake, that's my number 1.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. This game could have gone so south so spectacularly. Like, this game has been in development hell for 5 years. Something like that. And it's been like the most requested remake ever of Square Enix's library, if not the most requested remake in the history of games. So this could have been terrible. And it wasn't. And I think something for me was that, so I like playing Final Fantasy 15, there was a lot of talk about how the director of that game really wanted the fighting system and the ways to like experience the game. This was going to be the future of Final Fantasy, and you know, if you don't like it, you can get out. Like essentially he talked about, it's true, like he essentially made some comments about how it's like, if you don't like, you know, people are too tied to the past in order to accept the future.
Yeah.
That's probably true. But what Final Fantasy 15 did was make it, the battle system, mind-numbingly easy. Once you have the Royale Edition or the Royal Edition, I keep saying Royale. Thanks, Fortnite.
Fancy.
Uh-huh. The Royal Edition fixed up a lot of things. It allowed you to take control of other characters at once. And I think that kind of goes into Final Fantasy VII Remake system. I just want an RPG where I think a little bit about what it is that I have to do. But I can also do, like, with Tifa's characters all based off of whether or not you can string in combos and stagger enemies quickly and then use that stagger bonus to do a lot more damage. So there's some thought that has to go into it. They revamped the materia system. I thought that the materia system was very good. In the original 7, I don't like it as much because you can't really bust it wide open until you're about to beat the game anyway. So I think they added a lot of cool stuff already in the 7 remake to cater your characters, however, based off their strengths. A lot of the things that happen in the game can be considered like you might be on one side or another, but it's making me a little bit excited to see where the continuation of this remake will go. Hopefully it doesn't take another 5 years for it to happen, but
yeah, I hope not.
Honestly, my only real negative is that it seems like they just kind of forgot to load in textures every now and then.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oof.
There's like in chapter 3 of the game, because the game works in chapters, one of the towns that you're in, it seems like they just didn't load a texture. And so anything that used that texture just doesn't load properly. You remember playing Borderlands and like usually area first loads, it kind of looks really weird. And then all the textures just like load and everything looks normal again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that, but it doesn't happen.
Oh.
Like
just
you're
get,
waiting
this
for that texture to
muddy-
just pop in. It just doesn't. Yeah, they're just parts of the game that just looks really gross, but the rest of it looks amazing. So it's just some weird stuff that they just never patched out. But it made me, the reason why it's like number one is, again, it could have gone very bad. But in my opinion, it made me very hopeful about what the future of Final Fantasy could be. And I think they really they did good on the battle system. That's a very important thing for me for Final Fantasy, because that's one thing that they always focus on, is having a good battle system.
That's the thing that like attracted me to that game the most. I'm actually really excited. It's on my list of games to play. So I'm like really excited to jump into it, because I'm not a huge like JRPG fan, but the way that they did the combat in this, like I'm mainly turn-based RPG stuff. Like I'm not super into, but the action-based combat, I'm all for. I'm glad that they included that in the remake.
Yeah. And I'm the opposite way. Like I'm very much the turn-based system or ATB systems for certain games, but like some of my favorite games are Dragon Quest, or older PS1 based JRPGs, but stuff that like uses menus. So I didn't like the way that it seemed like Final Fantasy was going within the last couple of years. So I'm being hopeful. John, what is your number one?
All right. My number one for the year is Hades.
Ooh.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's
so
a good boy.
Yeah, Hades is an excellent game. It officially came out this year, and it landed on other platforms this year, even though it was an early access game on Epic last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
That game is chunky. That game's got a lot of content in a deceptively small package. The whole point of the game is to escape hell. You need to make it all the way back up to the real world, to the mainland, but Hades and his crew are trying to stop you, but you're the son of Hades, so you obviously have a lot of power. Olympus is trying to help you, and it is a very deceptively deep roguelike with a very interesting way of telling stories. So the idea is that a bunch of NPCs can help you, a lot of the gods from Mount Olympus, and you can find other characters from Greek mythology along the way. Like you'll bump into, oh shoot, I've already forgotten his name. Sisyphus. Yeah, you bump into Sisyphus. You jump into one of the fates. Not one of the fates. Apparently, my brain was not as ready for this conversation as I thought. You bump into one of the muses. There we go. You ready to see characters like that? It's like it pulls in a deceptively fun way, but also just like it feels a little modern too, because everyone's got like just that bite to their conversations. There's like things that just seem a little out of place for what you would expect from Greek mythology. But it's basically like a refinement of Bastion's kind of combat and movement. Like it's all like run and slash and dodge based, and it's pretty tight overall, honestly. It plays pretty good. It does have a learning curve. I definitely, the first time I played it, got not very far and got my ass handed to me. And then the more you play it, the more you learn it, the more you kind of process it and get through. You make it through to the end, and then you find out, oh, I've got to do this if I want to move the story along. So now I've got to do this, and like, okay, now I can have these weapons available. Now I have these upgrades available to make the game easier for me. Oh, but I can use this currency to buy this thing. So if I go out of my way on the path to get up there to actually go find this currency, I'll get more rewards. Oh wait, that unlocks something else. Oh, now I have an option to make the game as hard or as easy as I want. It just it slow drips content to you so well that it keeps you engaged the whole time. Like Reese and I played through this game together, and every time it was just like, here's a new thing, here's a new thing, here's a new thing. Oh, there's this story beat. Now if you go talk to them, you'll start doing this. I was like, oh, I got to make sure I go out of my way to get that. Oh, they need this item to do this? Okay, I've got to do this thing. Like, I'm impressed that I'm so far in, and there's still so much to do. Like, it's a very well put together game, and definitely they use that early access time to good use, because that is an excellent game.
You know, this was often a topic for Game of the Year awards categories, and I feel like Hades, and especially Supergiant Games in general, really should be congratulated for the amount of effort and time and love that they put into that game. But at the same time, not falling into some of the problems that other big name developers have gotten into in terms of crunch. So they're very, like, this is a company that's seems very good to their employees. And they managed to make all of this work in spite of 2020. And yeah, I feel like it is a game that I really should start to play.
I started to
haven't
play
bought
it
yet,
but and it's really, really good. That I'm still in that learning curve.
Yeah, once you find the weapon that works for you, though, like it just goes.
Yeah, I found some good like weapons, but the thing is that I think about it in combination with all the power ups that you get throughout as you go. So I'm trying to think of like which weapons and which power ups and like the build for each run essentially that works for me. I'm still trying to figure it out.
It ended up being for me, everything clicked when I got the bow and realized you don't use the bow as a bow, you use the bow as a shotgun. So, for what happened for me, like, so each weapon has two moves. It has like your regular attack, and then it has a special attack. And the regular attack for the bow is you stand still, you charge your shot, and then you fire it. But the special for the bow, or at least the default bow, is you fire in a quick spread 6 shots in a row or 5, something like that. So it's like a spread that arcs out and spaces out pretty well. But if you get right up in someone's face and fire it, they take all 6 shots at once, and each shot does, the same amount of damage. So you get a good upgrade for that move, or you get like a speed upgrade, and it just chews through enemies. Like, and if you get some effect like chill is a very helpful effect because it just slows people down, I think by 4% for each stack of chill, and you can stack it 10 times. So obviously spreading 6 shots into someone immediately, that's 6 stacks of chill right there. So you just keep repeating stuff like that, and it's done. It's great. Wow. But now that might not work for you because that you might have a different play style. But for me, the bow was the thing that made the game finally click. And then after playing around with the bow, I'm like, I wonder what I can do with these other weapons. And then, you find tricks with other weapons that work, and then it just keeps going from there.
The shield has actually been my favorite so far.
The shield is really good too. You can't really go wrong with most weapons.
Yeah. No, they're all good. Honestly,
yeah.
Apparently, the speedrunner's choice is the gun, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently there's like a certain version of that gun or a certain setup you can get with that just is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not simply just the weapon, but what boons you use along with that.
Yeah, which is a little RNG based, but I mean, you learn to work with it.
Yeah, I should probably play that.
I'm actually curious. What is the current weapon of choice? Oh my god, the in-game time current world record 6 minutes and 29 seconds.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah.
How?
I guess if
I'll have to watch that.
Because I guess you do multiple runs from what I've been told, but yeah, I guess one run.
Let's see here. What weapon did they use? They used, looks like the spear, actually.
Wow.
Neat. Oh, no, it's the gun. It's the gun. I see the ammo clip. Never mind.
Nope, gun. All right. Josh, what is your number 1?
So, yeah, my number 1 is definitely 100% Animal Crossing.
Had a feeling.
Yeah. Like, games that allow me to put together my own designs and, like, come up with my own creations and stuff. I love that aspect of video games immensely. And New Horizons was just that, the entirety of that. And yeah, I don't know. I built Spiral Mountain in Animal Crossing.
That's right.
It's good. It's a good time. Anytime I can bring banjo into anything. But the thing that captured me the most about Animal Crossing, actually, believe it or not, is the sound design. The sound design is absolutely amazing. I love just like I chose to keep my character barefooted because I just enjoy listening to the sounds of the bare feet like tapping on the ground on different like materials and stuff. I don't know. It was just something about the sound design was amazing. So, and yeah, it's just relaxing and something that is so needed this year, a relaxing island experience that you can build yourself. We all needed our own little spaces this year, and I'm glad that I got to make mine. I actually haven't played it in a while, but when I was playing it constantly, every day. And yeah, it's a magical experience. I loved it immensely. So props to Nintendo. There's a few things that slow it down. There's a lot of animations, a lot of text that keep it from being like quick. But that's kind of the idea is, take a chill pill, man. Slow down. Take a breather. That's what this game is. So that's my number one. I'm very, very happy with it.
Yeah. And then they've made a lot of improvements to the game overall over the last year already. So it seems like at least
sit now.
It seems like for, the next couple of years, it's not likely we'll get another brand new Animal Crossing game on the Switch. I know that Nintendo really, I haven't known them to do multiple of a single game in a series besides like Mario or Donkey Kong.
I think we're just going to get a lot of DLC for it, like a lot of expansions and stuff. Since so many people own that game, like if they released a paid DLC thing that was like a huge, like a bigger expansion than the free updates that they've been putting out, like they could do so much with it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see where they go if they really are going to try and make Animal Crossing a platform.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is. I mean, people are making there's people making like talk shows inside of Animal Crossing.
That's right.
Which is crazy, yeah.
It's so wild to me.
I'm really impressed with I think this year in general, maybe a little bit of a tangent, but like some of the things that people have been able to do this year, like I think it was called Crossing Talk, I guess. I think it was something that Gary Whitta started. The fact that people are able to like do these kind of talk show things in such really cool and unique ways, especially like now the rise of the VTuber this year, allowing for some really cool Space Ghost Coast to Coast like interviews sessions, has been really fun to watch. So the things that people do with Animal Crossing this year has been really amazing. So
I love it. I can't. I'm gonna go back to it once my Switch stops overheating. I'll go back to it.
Put it some ice. That'll fix it.
Yeah, I'll put it in the freezer for a while.
Yeah. Supposed to chill, relax.
Chill, relax. Yeah, Animal Crossing is supposed to be chill, not overheating. Of course, I was playing Mario Kart when it was overheating, so that definitely is a game that overheats.
And the CPU was losing, was getting very upset. All right. Well, that wasn't too bad. I thought that I was gonna do what I usually do and just take forever to get to the point. It's one of my unique talents. Oh, my microphone just slipped up. Okay. Back down. Nope, back down. I have that new Rode arm. So like if you the whole way that this arm works is that it's like use the weight of your microphone as a way to stay put, but sometimes like it doesn't go by the honor system, and it'll just like randomly be like, I'm just gonna fully expand it.
You can usually adjust those with like an Allen wrench or something.
I might need to. No, so these, well, I don't know. Maybe like the screws in the middle of the arm are what do it, but I looked for like ever to see if there was a way to adjust it, and it was like, no, it's pressure based, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's better than my other arm. So yeah, that's what I mean, like talking about other things.
I love how you immediately did it too. Right, you're in the middle of talking about getting distracted by something, and then the mic distracted.
Got distracted. There you go.
That was great. That was good.
Yeah. Is that a butterfly?
Ooh, piece of candy.
That's what I call common.
Ooh, piece of candy. That's why they call me Laughingboy LP, because I'm such a joke.
Aww.
Going back to this. Aw. So, in our last segment, just to kind of wrap things up, let's talk about what our next year is going to look like. What plans do we have for 2021? What does 2021 have for me? Is the real question. And
what are you doing in 2021?
He does not know.
It knows what it did. There are a lot of games that I still haven't beaten. I think this is going to be like the year of finalies for me. There are a lot of games that or either games or series that I just never caught up with. I still have not gotten through Borderlands. So I beat the first game like a couple of years ago, and I was playing co-op with a friend, and that just we just weren't able to do that anymore. So I still have like Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel just like halfway beaten. And I'm looking for people to play with.
So good.
You know, whatever. Just if anybody wants to play Borderlands, just let me know. I have 3.
Borderlands 2 is really good. I've played it a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's real good.
And I
Yeah,
still
I
have
never got around
3
to
just
finishing
sitting
2
there
either.
sealed. What's that?
I never got around to finishing Borderlands 2 either.
Well, hey. Do you have it on PS4?
That's a good question. I'm like,
If
I
you
think
have Plus-
I have everything else but.
Yeah. I have it on Steam. I have it on 360. I have it on Xbox One.
Let me just see. Borderlands. I have Borderlands 2 on 360, Xbox One, Steam. That's it. And I have the Handsome Collection on Epic, so I have
okay.
a couple versions.
Well,
Yeah, I have it on 360.
I thought I also had it on Switch, weirdly.
I mean, the Handsome Collection
I
was
guess
free
not.
on PS4.
Oh yeah, the Borderlands games are on Switch.
If you have Plus, but well, I'll figure it out. I actually have 2 on the Vita. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that.
We'll find a way. I'll go get my Vita right now.
Yeah. That'll be the good way. If I can get 3 other people to play with me on the Vita, you know, honor code, I think I can play with somebody else that's not on a Vita with my Vita. Yeah, I think, and actually one of the things I started right now is that I started playing Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, because I know 3's not good from what I've been told, but fuck it. I'm too invested. Like, I've played everything up till now, so I kind of want to finally get that game done and dusted so I can start moving on to 3. Tropical Freeze is another game that I started on the Switch and then never finished.
Same, actually.
Yeah, and the Tomb Raider trilogy, I played Rise of the Tomb Raider years ago on a stream, and I kind of want to replay it because I didn't really get the story too much because I was streaming it and I wasn't really paying attention. And I think there are a couple other things, like different franchises that I just really want to feel caught up in. Probably Yakuza would be a big one for me because I've only finished Kiwami, so I have like 5 other games to play and they're not short. So I can finally like play. I might just play 7 when it comes out on PS5 regardless of whether or not I've beaten the first 6, but I don't think there's too much crossover that I wouldn't like totally misunderstand it.
I want to go back and play Katamari.
Ooh, yeah.
Katamari Damacy. Because I started playing it started playing it a while ago, and it's just so fun. I saw a video recently of somebody playing it, and I was just like, this looks like really fun. I forgot how fun Katamari was. Let's go back and play that. I think I'll probably do that this year. Sometime.
Yeah, I think I have the HD remake on the Switch, so I just haven't a chance to touch it yet.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And not that long, honestly, either.
No,
I played a Vita one. That game's like 8 minutes long.
Yeah, that checks.
Speedrun.
John, what about you?
A couple different plans for me. Obviously, since I have to worry about my podcast, the setup we have on Top Down Perspective is that every month we do a game chosen by our Patreon. So last year we had a really interesting list. Last year's list was, hang on, I got it written down. Last year we played in January Time Spinner. February was Temtem. March was Murder by Numbers. April was Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass. May was One Step from Eden. June was Observation. July was SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. August was Panzer Paladin. September was the new Battletoads. October was Hades. November was Mega Man 11. And December was Bug Snacks. And we already got the January game, which I've already forgotten the name of. I think it was like Adrift at Sea or something like that. Lost at Sea. But usually that stuff we play there is going to be really interesting and very varied. So we'll see what happens there throughout the year. But I've also got what I do on my stream. So every year on Mondays, since I think it was 2016, I think I started doing this, maybe 2017, we do what we call game clearing. Yeah, 2017 is when I started. every year we have a specific goal we do on stream to see how many games we can clear, and we just kind of do about it a certain way. In 2017, we did 52 games in a year, so the idea was one game a week. 2018, the idea was to try to get 64 games in on a year, because I just wanted to step it up from 52. 2019's plan was the alphabet, so we did A to Z in order.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
So a game had to start with A, start with B, and so on. So we had some interesting games there because of that. And this past year's plan was monthly sub polls. So I gave my subs a list of 10 to 12 games, and they voted on what game we ended up playing based on that list. This year's plan is kind of going back to the 52, but a little different. The way it's going to work is that I'm picking the first game we start playing, and then a sub picks the next game based on like a list that they'd give me. A mod is the next game choice, and then it goes back to me. So it's going to be basically pulling from 3 different lists. Games I'm interested in, games subs want me to play, and game mods want me to play.
Okay.
So it's going to be partially in my control and partially not. So it's going to be an interesting year to see what we play on stream.
I like how that kind of provides a nice balance for like games that you want to show people or games that you want to play in front of people, and then games that they would want to see you play, or maybe like games that they've experienced and they want you to experience that too.
Yeah, exactly. So like I get new experiences that I might not have thought to do, and I get to show off things on stream that people probably wouldn't normally vote for on Cookie or on other streams.
That's really cool.
So it's a good balance this year, I hope. We'll see if it actually works in practice. That starts Monday.
Awesome. I mean, that being said, this will probably be out in like 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, so by
it's
then
begun.
I'm already in it. I've already done a couple games at that point.
Yep. Josh, anything else?
Not really, honestly. I'm going with the flow this year. Like I made so many plans for 2020 and that just fell apart. So like, no plans. I'm going into it with no plans and see what happens.
Yeah, just take a little bit at a time. No, that makes sense.
Take it one week at a time.
Yep.
I'll probably play Banjo-Kazooie again.
One guarantee.
Good plan. Good plan.
Yeah. Just put that on the calendar somewhere. What?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So I'm really happy that you guys were here to join me on this again. Hopefully we'll be back in January of 2022 talking about what the hell happened in 21. Just can't wait to find out. Where can we find you? What are you guys up to? Josh, where can we find you? What are you doing?
I'm mainly on Twitch, but I am starting to do more YouTube stuff this year. So, find me on those. Josh Jepson.
And John, where the hell are you?
I'm in a lot of places this upcoming year. Obviously, my main gig is twitch.tv/ProtonJon. That's my main streaming gig, 3 streams a week. YouTube content is also coming back for me, just like Josh. So my solo YouTube stuff, youtube.com/ProtonJonSA. All my streams are going up on my VOD channel, which is youtube.com/ProtonJon live streams. So you can see all the streams there in a much better loading format. I'm also, of course, on The Runaway Guys, youtube.com/The Runaway Guys. That's our group channel. We're running out of content, so we're finally doing pandemic recordings now. So it's starting to prove interesting. So it's gonna have a different feel, but also somehow still the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other things coming up this year that I can't talk about just yet, but you'll definitely see me on other channels this year. And just like my wife's currently, I'm also right now on youtube.com/Lucajin, LUCIHJIN, because we're playing through Super Mario RPG together.
That's a good one. That's a good game.
Heck yeah, man.
It's the best game. If I could...
I'm all over the internet. Fuck, save me. Fucking save me.
I wish I could, John. I wish I could save you from the internet, but it's just not possible. The internet's too powerful.
It's really not.
Yeah, we tried to pull you out. It's like God, it's like 100 Deeds of Eddie McDowd just being stuck in a dog and then getting canceled, so he'll never escape. You don't know that show? Just me?
No.
100 Deeds of Eddie McDowd. It's a show about like the kid bully that like becomes a dog because he gets like cursed by a witch, like crossed the wrong person, and he becomes a dog, and the only person who can understand him is the kid that he bullied. So it's supposed to be like one of those shows where he does 100 good deeds, he returns back to human, and then it got canceled like halfway through. It was on Nick. Probably TVY for Canadians.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't see it.
Thank you for watching. This has been another somewhat episode of DialogBOX. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. So long. Have we to say? Farewell.
Yeah, I think you got those backwards. It's farewell. Yeah, so long, farewell. I'll be
So long, farewell. Yeah. Well, I didn't say I was smart.
I'm pretty sure I got it wrong too. Don't.
Bye,
everybody.
Adieu. Goodbye.
Closing time.
Yeah, that's my favorite song from the play.
I know who I want to
take me home.